Barefoot Protocol Part 1. Now, if you're one of these people who is impatient and just wants to know how to do it, go and watch Part 2. In this video, I'm going to cover the benefits of going barefoot. Now, our feet are our point of contact with the ground. They're our principal base of support. They are our movement foundation. They are our point of contact with the ground in practically every movement that we ever perform. They provide us with a stable platform to bear our body weight. They provide us with balance, stability, and sensory input even. This ensures that we maintain balance, especially on uneven or challenging surfaces. The feet also provide shock absorption during movement. The arches of the feet act as a natural shock absorber and help to control the impact of landing while jumping or the force of foot striking during walking, running, everyday movements. The feet also enable movement, acting as a lever to push the body forward. This is fundamental to initiating any lower body movement. Feet are important, so we'll skip over the importance and get right into it. Now, the problem with foot health today is that most modern conventional footwear they're built for comfort rather than optimum foot health or foot functionality. Most modern shoes contain pronounced foot arch supports, which force the muscles that are naturally used for supporting the arch to work very differently. Now, with this cushioning effect that is supporting the foot arch, what happens is that over time, the muscles that are normally employed in maintaining the arch often end up atrophied and becoming weakened. This is now becoming quite common. This often results in either a partially or totally collapsed foot arch, which causes the neuromuscular system to adapt and compensate, which can result in pain in the foot arch. It can cause problems further up the kinetic chain into the knees, hips and lower back. Conventional footwear tends to have the heel in a raised position, placing the heel into an unnatural position. I've got a shoe as an example here, has a high heel, and this tends to make the heel raised and the toes and foot are slightly on a downward slope. The calves are then placed into a shortened position, restricting their range of motion. Now, this all contributes to altering the mechanics of the feet and the entire kinetic chain. Altering the mechanics of the feet places stress on other parts of the body, leading to a chain reaction of compensatory injuries and misalignments in the ankles, knees, hips, and even the lower back, as the body it's adjusting to the forced misalignment of defective feet. Now, an example, a collapsed or partially collapsed foot arch causes foot pronation, where the feet pronate inwards. This in turn causes the knees to be closer together, a condition known as knock knee, or its medical term knee valgus. The knees are misaligned by being turned inwards. This in turn encourages the pelvis into an unnatural pelvic tilt. This affects the mechanics of the hips in motion, which in turn can go on to affect the natural lordotic curve in the lumbar spine. And another problem associated with poor foot arch health is the condition, quite a common condition, plantar fasciitis. It's well known that this condition frequently causes compensatory problems further up the kinetic chain. Now, another problem with conventional shoes is that they tend to come in generic foot sizes, by size of foot in this direction. They have standard toe box fittings. Now, back to the example that I've got here, the shoe is kind of rounded at the end, and this is a toe box that's too narrow. It can cause foot pain, and long-term deformities because your toes are all squashed up in the shoe like this in many cases. Often even shoes that are sold with a labelled as wide fitting can even have inadequate space to allow the toes to move freely. A narrow toe box prevents the foot from splaying out, which compromises the foot's natural tripod structure, and this can affect balance and stability. This compression and compromised stability can also contribute towards weakening of the foot arch over time. It's a vicious circle. Another thing to consider is that shoes with a narrow toe box and with foot arch support can also restrict blood flow, and this can possibly lead to numbness and swelling in the feet, especially as you get older and you've been doing this for a long time. When our foot arches become weakened and the supporting foot arch muscles become atrophied, this impairs the shock absorption capabilities of the feet. Now, a solution would be to have shoes tailor-made to fit each individual foot, but of course this would be very time consuming and very expensive. It's convenience that you can just go into a store and buy generically sized shoes off the peg. Now, the good news is that in most cases these issues can be corrected. However, the bad news is that this takes time. There's no quick, fast solution to this. I began my foot correction routine at age 50 after decades of wearing conventional footwear, and I've managed to significantly improve my foot health, my foot performance and my overall posture. So it's never too late to implement this. Now, by far the most effective practice for foot correction is the use of barefoot shoes and barefoot walking. Barefoot shoes provide comfort, traction and support. They come with a wide toe box. I've got a pair here. They come with a wide toe box, allowing the toes to adequately spread out and the muscles in the sole of the foot to become activated during movement, because they've got a completely flexible sole. So it allows your foot to flex with each step that you take. The muscles in the sole of the foot become more activated during movement. Barefoot shoes can also help the entire kinetic chain to feel better and to become more aligned. Wearing barefoot shoes can increase the strength of your feet. They do not force your feet into a restrictive position like conventional shoes do. Barefoot shoes are shaped to correspond to the natural form of the foot. Rather, and it allows the feet to move freely and more naturally during movement. This in turn allows your body to move in a more naturally aligned manner. Better alignment means that you can build foot strength more efficiently, and this improves your gait and your posture. With improved foot strength, you can absorb impact much more effectively. It improves motor control in movement, and it properly activates the foot muscles. With more natural and freely activated foot muscles, this will help you to develop improved toe strength, providing even more balance, stability and shock absorption. The benefits mount up. Your foot mechanics will improve, enabling more control in the feet. These mechanisms are critical for balance and the posture of your lower kinetic chain. Improved toe strength also helps to improve stability to the entire posterior chain as well. With improved overall foot strength, the ankles become more stable and stronger, reducing the risk of ankle injuries. It can even help to reduce the chances of knee injuries. Everything is becoming better aligned. Improved ankle strength also means better control and stability. The benefits keep mounting up. Many cases of knee pain are caused by the collapse of the arches of the feet, bringing the knees into poor alignment. The strengthening of the muscles in the feet encourage the strengthening and increased stability further up the kinetic chain. Improved foot stability also means improved support for the lower leg muscles, the Achilles tendon. Now, these muscles all tend to be in a more natural and aligned position while wearing barefoot shoes, because these shoes do not have the raised heel that the conventional shoe has. Now, an often neglected aspect of foot health, which is also extremely important for optimised posture and gait, is the sensory input received by the feet during movement. With conventional cushioned shoes, you've got the thick sole, the foot arch, the cushioning. It places the feet into unnatural positioning, and much of the sensory feedback is dulled or inhibited by all of this excessive cushioning provided by the shoes. With barefoot shoes, the feet get a lot more sensory input. The sole is literally this thick. It allows for better functioning of the neuromuscular pathways between muscles and the brain during movement. Proprioception is the sensory feedback loop provided by the nervous system that instructs the brain about body positioning in space and time. Any forces acting near or around or in your body, it all comes through the feet initially. This allows the brain and the nervous system to make finely tuned calculations related to balance, stability, and even force transfer during movement. The soles of the feet contain many proprioceptive nerves, or sensors in effect, which are continually sending out signals relating to where your body is in space, and allows sensory communication with all the other parts of the body and the other muscles that are involved in the coordination of any movement. This enables optimum balance, control, and perception. With better control and coordination of the feet, this results in improved motor control. Motor control also declines with age, and the force of the feet striking the floor during running, walking, jumping will be reduced, and this reduces impact on your joints, and it's good for joint health. There are many benefits to walking barefoot and using barefoot shoes, but it's absolutely vital to condition the feet to get the most out of this. This takes time and cannot be neglected. There is a risk of injuries and foot pain if you just switch shoes without conditioning the feet first and taking the time to establish new movement patterns. Now, first, let's consider potential negative aspects to barefoot shoes. This is important because if you know the risks, this is going to help you to train your feet effectively and avoid injuries. Barefoot shoes have much less protection, especially in the plantar fascia. They are, you can see here, the soles are really thin. So it's important to train ourselves to alter the way in which we strike the floor with each step. More on this in a while. With a rapid transition, from conventional shoes to barefoot shoes, with no foot conditioning program, there is a risk of stress fractures and development of plantar fasciitis. There's also a potential risk for anybody with pre-existing foot pain or foot conditions. Chances are, if you've been using conventional shoes for any length of time, then you have foot conditions. These conditions can be exacerbated, especially if you transition to barefoot shoes too quickly and neglect the foot conditioning. Going into this too hard and too quickly can also overload the muscles and tendons associated with the lower kinetic chain. This can lead to conditions like a strained Achilles tendon or sore calves, for example. If you have any restrictions or structural weaknesses, you must take the time to gradually increase load tolerance to these areas. Chances are this applies to most people who've been wearing conventional shoes for a long time. You will have structural weaknesses. You have been warned. Some people might have limited big toe flexibility, for example, so forcing your toe to bend and flex the way that barefoot shoes do could cause pain and swelling if you do not take the time to condition your feet. This is just one example of many. Blisters and abrasions can form on the soles of your feet. The lack of conditioning cushioning in barefoot shoes means more impact on hard or uneven surfaces. You feel sharp surfaces or edges more in barefoot shoes. You must take the time to build up the strength in the feet, activate the foot arches, build up tolerance to walking without that cushioning that you've become accustomed to. You also need to build up calluses on the contact points on the soles of the feet. You will also need to establish new motor programs of movement which will alter the way that your feet strike the floor with each step, because there is little or no protective shock absorption provided by barefoot shoes. You know, you've got this, which is, it's this much cushioning in that shoe compared to this much cushioning in this shoe. It's essential to activate the foot muscles and to train them adequately to provide the shock absorption on their own without any support. You are more exposed to rocks and uneven surfaces. There is more risk of nails on the floor, glass or other debris puncturing the shoe and cutting your feet. Also digging in to the pressure points and sensors on the feet. You need to take all of this into account when optimizing your foot health. Even now, after using barefoot shoes for more than a year, I'm aware of scanning the ground ahead of me to watch out while I'm moving. There are positives and negatives to anything and everything. The benefits of barefoot walking and using barefoot shoes are too great to ignore. This will extend the life of your feet. My feet and my overall movements have never been better. My posture is improved, motor control is improved, proprioception is improved. My feet are stronger, they function better. I now wear barefoot shoes full time and I can hike over very rough, rocky terrain without any problems. I feel my foot muscles being activated with every step. My lower leg muscles are less prone to fatigue. I can hike long distances without any leg fatigue, any aches anywhere in the kinetic chain. In part 2, I will go over the exact strategy that I used to take my foot performance to a whole new level. Stay tuned for more.